bienvenidos a un programa más de Dr. Lizi. Muchos besitos y muchos saludos a toda mi familia de retos femeninos y un abrazo desde lo más profundo de mi corazón a todos ustedes. Gracias, gracias, gracias por estar aquí, por utilizar lo más importante que tienen, que es su tiempo, para aprender de grandes maestros como los que tenemos el día de hoy. Hoy tenemos dos grandes maestros en el tema del metabolismo. A ver, díganme, ¿quién no sufre por temas de peso? Es que me como algo y me engorda 3 veces más, es que por más dietas que hago, ninguna me sirve para nada. Bueno, pues hoy, para que nos digan por qué las dietas restrictivas no sirven y cómo poder tener un metabolismo muchísimo más ágil, mucho más flexible, como le dicen ellos, es vital para tener una mejor salud y tener muchísimo mejor peso. Entonces, hoy en el programa nos acompañan el doctor Rob Vasquez y el doctor Jhons, que son expertos en esto que les digo, en salud holística y en metabolismo, y tienen una trayectoria increíble. Y fíjense ustedes que Randy superó un cáncer en etapas muy avanzadas y Rob venció una enfermedad metabólica. O sea, las experiencias que ellos tuvieron pues fueron súper importantes, tan trascendentales en su vida, que se convirtió en una misión poder compartir con otras personas lo que les había literalmente salvado la vida. Y bueno, pues esta entrevista la voy a hacer en inglés, porque Randy y Rob no hablan español, pero ahorita los vamos, ahí está, no, ahorita los encontramos. Ese es el de Rob. Yo creo que vamos a ver, vamos a tratar. Me there, porque si no tenemos que transmitir desde la otra. A ver, chete, si está bueno. Pues mientras tanto los voy saludando, mientras que... Hola, Cis, bienvenidos, Agustín. Hola, ¿de dónde se están conectando? Díganme. Entonces, ok, yo creo que nos vamos, si no le escribo a Rob, a ver si nos vamos a conectar por su Instagram. Pero bueno, me encanta que se estén uniendo, porque este es un tema que no solamente tiene que ver con cómo te ves. O sea, la enfermedad metabólica es súper seria y desafortunadamente es muy, muy común. Entonces, qué mejor que tener a dos expertos que no solamente, pues ellos han vivido en carne propia lo que es tener que encontrar lo que sea ahí, de ellos. There we go. Y creo que ya casi vamos a tener a Robbie y Randy con nosotros.
Hey there, Dr. Lizi.
Come on. How are you guys? I'm so happy to see you.
Oh, fantastic.
Always.
Buenos tardes.
There you go.
That's all I have. That's it.
Hi. We'll say it again because every person that is joining is going to...
Tardes.
I made a beautiful introduction of both of you.
We heard. Thank you. Thank you so much. You're so kind and gracious.
I will have little letters, but I wanted our super lovely Spanish-speaking community to know about you guys, because you're doing extraordinary things. And for me, it's a pleasure to be your friend and also to be your super admirer. And I know you've helped so many people recover a healthy, happy life. And thin. And I think that's what many, many, many people aspire. So first of all, welcome to all the Spanish-speaking community that I love, that have been following me for many years. And this is a space where I have the blessing of introducing people like you. So, how are you guys doing? What part of the world are you now? Dallas? I can't. Oh my God, we have a connection issue. ¿Ustedes me pueden escuchar a mí? No se hagan manitos. A ver. Randy Rob, it's like disconnected. Let's check what's going on. A ver. Oh, yeah. Randy and Rob are the best in the world. Díganme, por favor, si me escuchan. We are here. You know what? The image is blocked. Maybe it has to do with the internet because it's like frozen. And I can't hear you. So you're experts. You tell me what to do and we'll do it. Sí, se me escucha a mí. Yeah, the problem is on that side. There we go. Let's see. Wait a second. Yeah.
We are back.
We're back.
Okay, so how have you been?
We've
Traveling a lot.
We've been fantastic. In fact, we just got back from Mexico. We were in Puerto Vallarta last week, sharing the happy, healthy message and story out there. Enjoying some recharge, relaxed time as well. And then we'll be back in Mexico later this week. We'll be in Tulum this week.
Really?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do in Tulum exactly? Is there a group of people that you're talking to about this?
Well, today we just launched a retreat that we're going to be hosting in October for Happy Healthy. So this week we're going to be in Tulum at the actual resort that we're going to be hosting it at to make sure that everything is curated perfectly. So we've got great healthy food, all the sessions, the exercise sessions, the morning meditation, that everything goes off perfectly for the people who are going to be attending.
Oh.
So that's why we'll be there.
Oh, happy. I want to know more about that retreat. I would love to be in it.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. You're definitely invited, Dr. Lizi, for sure.
Thank you. Maybe I'll talk to them a little bit about the discover your superhero part, and then we have the complete integration of what it is to be a hero of our own lives.
Yeah.
And I feel very blessed to know both of you because you're amazing human beings, but you've also dealt with battles, important health battles. Randy, you had a cancer and you're healed. And I know that it made such an important impact, obviously, in your life, but not only in your physical life, but it also changed the way you started seeing many things and also sharing what you learned. And you too, Rob, you suffer from metabolic illness and it's something very serious. So why don't you start by sharing a little bit of who you guys are, because you guys are superheroes.
Oh, thank you.
You're the best, Dr. Lizi. And you're right. We both faced a challenge, leading into that prior to losing our health. We were really the doctors helping other people be healthy, which was the irony of this whole thing, because you would think, hey, these are the guys, they got it all figured out. They're helping people live their best life. And then here I am. My background is in chiropractic care. I was running one of the largest clinics in the entire country. 8 years into practice, I get a late stage cancer diagnosis. They gave me anywhere from 2 months to maybe 2 years to live. The cancer had metastasized into the lymphatics, into my liver, had moved into my stomach. I was in big trouble. And
you had no symptoms, or you were so busy working and being very punctual and attentive to all your responsibilities as a leader that you never felt that your body was screaming, I'm sick?
Yeah, good question. So it's, I was bulletproof, right? I was in denial. I'm a man. The way I was raised, you don't show any weakness and you power through everything. And that's really what I was doing. I was in a very busy practice. It did dominate my life, way out of balance. I had just previously had lost my father, who was just a hero to me, my brothers, my mom, and our family. So the emotional trauma of losing my father, working all those hours and really living in denial, my health got out of control. And then there you go, I get this diagnosis. And, you know, you really find out what you really believe when you're thrown directly into that fire. Because you could say anything, but when you face a real crisis, especially when it comes to your health, you're going to make decisions based off of what you really believe in. And what I really believe is that health is the normal and disease like cancer is the abnormal, and that cancer wasn't making me sick. I was already sick. I wasn't adapting chemically, physically, and emotionally, which is why I was expressing a metabolic condition known as cancer, which is why my journey led me into Spain, España, Marbella, Puerto Banús, Costa del Sol. We had heard of a doctor there from Lebanon, medical doctor, cellular biologist.
It's a beautiful place to go find a doctor, you know. I mean, he's going to be somewhere.
I know. I'm glad it wasn't, you know, in America, maybe if it wasn't like Cleveland, Ohio. Nothing against Cleveland, Ohio, but probably not the healing environment of Marbella, Spain, and the Costa del Sol. And, you know, long story short.
Stop it right there.
What's that?
On the subject. Yeah. I was just buying my head over there, so. Okay. No, I bet that
yeah, so I end up over there.
Telling you that you have cancer and that you're probably going to die between 2 and 8 months.
Yep.
I don't even imagine psychologically. I would say you get in a shock state. That's the first thing that happens because your brain cannot connect that reality. It's too hard. It takes a little bit of time. It's like when somebody dies.
Yeah.
That people keep on washing their clothes and putting like where they're going to eat because they still exist. So I imagine it was terrifying. What did you feel? Yeah,
I felt a lot. It was paralyzing, you know, to be, you know, you hear the C word, right? That cancer word. And it does it scrambles your amygdala, the part of your brain that can decipher logic and reason. Like you're really in this fear place. It's scary. And so I think the reason I was able to muster up whatever courage I was able to muster up to ask the right questions really came back to my background as a holistic doctor and as a chiropractor, because I really believe that all healing comes from above down and inside and out, and that you can create an environment where your body is very, very likely to do incredible things. And so those type things that I had learned that I was teaching my own patients really was there to help save my own life. Because, you know, they were wanting to, I'm sure they do this in Mexico as well. It was going to be chemotherapy, radiation, drugs, surgery, you know, hospice care. Nothing they were going to do was going to get to the cause of why I was sick. That wasn't going to heal the emotional wound of losing my father and my out of control practice that was dominating my life and the things I was doing. So the courage came from the principle that really health is the normal, and things like cancer don't make us sick. Our bodies are not adapting to our environment. And that's why, you know, that really got Dr. Rob and I thinking about things differently in regards to how do we now maybe go forward and help people in a whole new way metabolically, which we can get to.
Oh, yes. I definitely want to learn what you guys have created because you've been working together for many years. I know your story is very important too, Rob, if you want to share a little bit about it. And because I know you have a passion, both of you, for helping others to understand things that are really wrong and they repeat it constantly. Like you have to have a restrictive diet to lose weight. And maybe there's nothing that could be more wrong than insisting on that because it's going to put your metabolism in a very low state. It's not going to be active. And there's so much to learn that you guys can teach us. But Rob, I would like to hear a little bit of what it means to you to be part of this happy, healthy lifestyle that you guys have shared with so many people now.
Yeah, Yeah, thanks for the question, because this is what it is that we do is literally transformed and changed my life. You know, one of the things that we always tell people is that you're best equipped to help the person who you used to be. And so as a kid, I was the kid that thought I was supposed to be overweight. So I was 13 years old. I was about 210 pounds. I say I was about as wide as I was tall, but I thought I was supposed to be that way because my mom struggled with her weight. And so what I learned from my mom, which you just touched on, was that dieting was the answer, or reducing calories was going to be the answer. So at that time, I was highly motivated to want to lose the weight. I didn't like the way I looked. I didn't like going to school and being bullied by people. And I was terrified to talk to girls because they didn't like the little chubby fat kid. And so I started cutting and restricting calories and starving myself. So I would go like 5-6 days without eating anything to lose weight. And then I was exercising like crazy, and I lost all this weight. I was down at, when I was 14 years old, I was 124 pounds. And it didn't make me healthy because I was starving my body of the nutrients and the cells of the nutrients that it needed. But that right there started my lifelong battle with my weight and having to be perfect with my diet, perfect with my exercise to maintain a healthy weight. And then, like he was saying, we were trying to teach our patients. And so when I was 38 years old and had a busy practice teaching our patients how to lose weight through diet and exercise, but it wasn't working for me. I was perfect without eating sugar. I wasn't eating grains. I was gluten-free. I was exercising all the time. And when I wasn't perfect, I gained weight and I injured my back. When I injured my back, I could no longer stand for periods of time long enough to be able to exercise. And when that happened, I gained 65 pounds almost overnight, the same time that Randy was going through cancer. And we really believe that everything in life happens for a purpose. And so what it did is it caused us to start learning the science of metabolism, because I was like, if he could heal from cancer, and obviously having a weight issue is a metabolic problem, then what we were using for him could work on me and help me to be able to lose this weight that was hard. And so I lost the 65 pounds. That was 14 years ago. It's never been easier to maintain a healthy weight. My back's no longer inflamed. I don't have the pain.
I'm not dead.
He's not dead. So, Dr. Lizi.
What would I do without you?
Exactly.
Come on,
So,
don't even think about that.
14 years ago, we were not the happy, healthy guys. You wouldn't have wanted to listen to us. We were the overweight, sick, depressed, almost dead guys back then. But it was because of that.
Do you have pictures? Have you ever kept the picture of how you both looked before?
So I do have, I have a couple of before and after photos, only because I didn't like taking pictures at that time. If you can imagine, you know, probably people that are watching can imagine that. I've got a few of them. So yes, the transformation is remarkable.
Wow. But it's the most amazing part of it is the happy part of it.
Yes.
You're going to have a lot of thin people that are super depressed or super anxious. You're talking about a happy, healthy, thin lifestyle. It's a program. It's a way of living. It's a way of thinking. It's something you've got to do in every part of your life, I imagine. But you're the expert. So I would love to know a little bit more of what you do exactly. Obviously, I want tips for all our people. Things that like come to you all the time. People are doing this and this is not right. I remember when we had dinner that you were such amazing hosts, beautiful hosts in Dallas for the biohacking conference. Amazing. No, but for example, there are things that I saw Randy worried about, that they could be cooking with some type of, it was seed oil, for example, that's something you were very like punctual about. Like, don't cook with this because this is really bad for your health. Do not do it, no? But there's a turn in what you have shared with many people that like catches my attention. And it's this breaking free from diets because I think many people we know are hooked on diets. They go like that and like that and like that and like that.
Yeah, I think the first step, and one of the things that we always teach people that we work with, is you've got to make some shifts. The first shift that you've got to make is you've got to change your identity. And you have to change your identity as someone who is willing to do something different than what you were doing before. And what most people are doing is telling themselves that I am going on a diet or I'm a dieter. If you're a dieter and reducing calories, what you're really doing is starving your body of what it needs. So we say instead of cutting calories or counting calories, start counting nutrients. Be having an identity where you're more looking at the nutrients that you're putting into your body, right, versus calories. And then, you know, Randy can talk a lot more about seed oils as an example, because there's nothing of any kind of nutrient value of the majority of the oils that our food is being cooked in, which is destroying people's metabolisms right now, which is even worse than cigarette smoke.
Well, and you said it is changing your identity, not living to eat, but really eating to live. The food that you put in your body is what your body is using to make all the cells in your body. And so when you put toxic, hyper palatable, super ultra processed fake food into your body, it is making you sick. And so one of the questions the father of modern medicine, Hippocrates, would always ask his patients is, are you willing to stop doing the things that are making you sick? So that really is step number one. Stop dieting, stop counting calories, start counting nutrients, eating real food. In fact, we created an acronym, Dr. Lizi, you're going to love this, called SURF. And it's not what you're thinking. It's not surfing. It's not S-U-R-F. It's S-E-R-F. Simply eat real food. And real food, here's an example. If you put food on the counter and you walked away for 2 weeks and you came back, if it looks the same, it's not food. Right? Real food will deteriorate. It'll spoil. It'll break down.
So, I like the way you
right?
Definitely.
And this is really not, it's not sexy, but it's super real. Going back to our ancestors, they were eating real foods. These are foods that aren't prepackaged and processed and built for shelf life. You know, here in America, and it's probably not that different in some parts of Mexico, you know, really food isn't built for human consumption. These foods are really developed by big food, big pharma, the chemical companies. There's over 10,000 chemicals that are approved to go into our food supply here in America. These are all endocrine disruptors. We call them obesogens because these chemicals make you fat. They make you sick, and they disrupt your endocrine system and your metabolism. So going back to simply eating real food, you know, proteins and vegetables and fruits and good quality animal fats and proteins, that is definitely step number one. Stop dieting and start putting real food that's nutrient dense into your body.
I have a question for both of us. I don't eat meat, you guys know, and you also told me that I should eat more meat, and I think I should eat a little bit, but I'm more of a vegetarian. But you eat a lot of meat, for example, no? Yeah, and you feel super good with the diet you take. Yeah. But I was thinking about, for example, salmon or tuna. I would love to eat salmon or tuna, and I thought it was super healthy to have I don't know how you say it in English, but it's a granja. Not the wild salmon, but the ones that are raised.
Yeah, the farm raised. It's farm raised, the conventional raising of the fish, yes.
And when I was watching a documentary in Netflix, it was really scary to see something that we're trying to eat healthy or something nutritious can be actually killing us because it has antibiotics, because all the fish that get sick and they don't even have space to swim, those fish have had the most horrible life you can imagine.
Yeah.
poor fat, no muscle because they have just no space to move. So they're full of ickies, and tuna's a little bit more. So, I mean, nutrition means buying organic, even it's a little bit more expensive. If you can really get natural food,
yeah.
I think it makes such an important difference, right?
No question.
Yeah, and I don't even think it's more expensive, because if you weigh out the amount of money that you would pay to buy organic food versus the amount of money that you're going to spend in a hospital because you're sick with heart disease, diabetes, ulcerative colitis, whatever the disease is, you're not gaining by trying to save on your health, right? What in the world is your most important investment?
Yeah.
The most important investment is always going to be you, yet people treat their cars better.
It
Yeah.
should be. Most people don't, Rob. It's impressive.
But
Most
if you
people don't. For example, I work a lot with leaders. No, if I ask leaders, do you love yourself? Of course. And when you ask them about their lifestyle, no, their lifestyle doesn't seem to be congruent with self-love. Yeah. One day I was talking with our amazing Doc Fab Mancini, and I asked him, what do you think in an interview like with you right now? I told him, okay, Fab, you've mentioned so many leaders. Tell me one thing that you think is like the must a leader should have to be an amazing leader. And you know what he answered? I thought he was going to give me a super review of Jim Collins or of Well, no, he said, love himself. To be a great leader, you have to love them. You love yourself. But when you ask people how much time they spent on them, not much.
No,
they never have for them.
Yeah.
To do whatever they want for them. That means there's a little problem in the balance, I think, or in what it means to love yourself. But you designed a program to help people live a healthy, happy, thin life that is followed in 3 steps, as I understand. Can we know a little bit of what those 3 steps mean?
Yeah.
Why in 3 steps? Not one, why not in 5?
Well, you know what? I love just the way the world and the universe works. Everything is in like a triune of life. You have mind, body, spirit. And so, wonderful things end up coming in threes, right? They say a 3-chord bond can never be broken. And so, number 1 being is you've got to assess, test, and stop guessing. Okay, what I mean by that is most things that people are doing is just like throwing spaghetti on the wall and hoping that it's going to work. With us, we assess every person that comes into our program, and then that allows us to be able to see exactly what it is that's causing their metabolism to not be working properly, because then we can design a specific, customized step-by-step plan for that individual person. So that's why assessing really is step number 1.
Okay. And you were saying something about measuring. When you talk about assessing, is like stop trying to, let's see if it's this or that. You take exams to check these people's metabolism and how they're doing. So it's measurable. The people can see their improvement. So
yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why the assessment is so important, because most people are just trying to figure it out on their own. We call it like the death by metabolic a la carte. You try a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of that, and you're trying to figure it all out. And by the end of the day, you're worse than when you started.
True story.
And so this is why we really shorten the learning curve, because we've been there. Like you said, we're best equipped to help the people that we used to be. We were both metabolically sick. If I can overcome late stage cancer and he can overcome his injury and lose all that weight and keep it off, there isn't anything people can't do. So that assessment gives us the first step in making sure now we can customize the experience for our clients, because no 2 people lose or gain weight the same way. Everybody's so unique and so different. That's why dieting, there's millions of diets, but at the end of the day, when you stop dieting, all the weight comes back or worse because it had nothing to do with you. So our testing allows us to use a strategy called nutritional intelligence.
Which is step number 2.
Number 2, yes. The new Q is kind of like emotional intelligence, which is very important. This is nutritional intelligence, where we can now customize the right real foods, the right sequencing, how to prepare them, when to eat them, that's unique to that individual to help heal their metabolism, get them burning fat, getting them insulin sensitive, creating more of a metabolic flexibility where their body is burning more calories. So remember, it's not necessarily always what you're eating. What does your body do with the food when you eat it? Does it burn it or does it store it? And of course, that's all contingent on the health of your metabolic profile.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So in the evaluation, you make a metabolic profile.
We do. So what we do is we look for what's called what's their metabolic disruptor.
Yeah.
What is their metabolic disruptor type? So we can figure out what's disrupting it. So then once they get that step-by-step literally blueprint, the average person that comes into our program is losing, on average for a woman, 25 plus pounds in only 5 weeks.
Yeah.
So the active portion of somebody going through our program is only 5 weeks long. And so the reason we designed it that way is because scientifically, we need at least 5 weeks to replace, to repair damaged cells in the body. Your body is always healing and repairing, right? And so the other reason for 5 weeks, Dr. Lizi, is because we know that you can do anything for only 5 weeks.
It's true.
It's not like we're not asking somebody to do something for 6 months in order to do this. Like the average diet program that somebody would go on if they were going to do the quote diet. And by the way, what are the first 3 letters in the word diet spell? D-I-E.
Yikes.
Diet. First of all, that's probably not the best thing to do.
No.
But during these 5 weeks, as they're actively losing this weight, we're literally resetting this person's metabolic, what's called thermostat, which goes into step 3.
Yeah. And then even for men, and this is if somebody needs to lose the weight, obviously, because we're not forcing weight loss. We're creating a healthy metabolic environment where the body can detox and heal and adapt. And then if weight needs to come off, it will. But for men, if they need to lose it, they're getting 30, 35, 40 or more pounds. And this is in 5 weeks, Dr. Lizi. So we're able to reverse obesity for some people, because that's really the definition of obesity, being 30 pounds overweight. We're able to reverse this in 5 weeks for many of our clients. And then the best part is step number 3, because people want to know, well, will I ever gain this weight back? Because if you've ever lost weight by starving yourself, which is a diet, and living on a treadmill, well, we already know when you stopped all of that or you weren't perfect, all the weight more than likely came back and you gained even more. In fact, this was proven on national television here in America. I don't know if y'all got this show, but it was called The Biggest Loser Competition. Do you remember that show, Dr. Lizi?
No, but imagine that in the news in Mexico, when I was in the news broadcast,
Yep.
I did with a group of women. I was in charge of, we were in charge of helping an obese woman lose weight she had a nutrologist. I don't know how to say it in English, but that.
Yep.
And different specialties, and I was her therapist. And it was a blessing what it meant for her to lose weight, because I know it's something that bothers so many people. The weight thing, it makes them feel acomplejados, insecure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it really affects self-esteem, self-worth, because unfortunately we live in a society that is very specific about the way we're supposed to look. And think about that. I love to feel and look good, because it makes me feel and look good.
Yeah.
Because I like it. And also, for me, it's been 1 year of biohacking. You guys are experts, but it's really interesting how you can do this in 5 weeks. Do you think there's like some simple, practical tips before people? I have some questions. Do you have a physical space in Dallas, I believe?
We do have a physical space that we use as our headquarters, and to do Instagram lives like this, we've got a podcast. We're actually sitting in our podcast studio, and so this is where our team works out of, and then everything that we do is virtual, so we can help people literally all over the world.
Awesome. So people can write to you in your Instagram.
Yeah, they can definitely send us a DM through Instagram. But I would say really
life.
The H2 life.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think the first step that people can go to, like, here's a practical thing that people can be able to do, is to find out first if there's a chance that they have a metabolic problem. So we created,
for example,
so we created what's called the metabolism score. So if somebody goes to metabolismscore.com, they can fill out a questionnaire there that's free, and then that lets them know if they've got a metabolism issue. And then once they see what their score is, we've got videos on there as well that will talk them through different things that they can be doing and what their next steps are based on what that score showed them. So that's something very practical that people can do that doesn't cost them anything as well.
Awesome. I'm going to do it.
Absolutely.
Let us know your score, Dr. Lizi. Metabolismscore.com.
Oh, let me tell you that you scored me 100% perfect when we met at the conference.
Well, you're pretty perfect.
I went to the doctor. No, you scored me perfectly. The weight was like, oh, come on, I'm not that thin.
Well, it goes back to, it's not, people that are thin can also have poor metabolic function. It's not always about being overweight. Skinny people get cancer. Skinny people have heart attacks. It's much bigger than that. So this is why, for some of the symptoms people might have, things like you're not sleeping well, or you wake up hungry, and then every 2 hours you feel like you have to eat something to keep your blood sugar stable. People who have metabolic syndrome, blood sugar, blood pressure, they're on cholesterol medication. This is a huge one too, a decreased desire for intimacy. When you have poor metabolic function, we always say if you're not healthy, you're not horny. And that's just, that's the fact. So if
you're not happy,
you got it. So
you got it. Nobody's happy.
Yeah. So that's not good for anybody.
That negative wrong.
So, and some other things that people may see is that they've got inflammation or pain. Yeah. Or maybe it's not inflammation or pain, but if somebody has a lot of sweet cravings. Yeah. Growing up in a Latin house, I just thought it was everybody ate sweets all the time, right? But if you're constantly craving sweets, that right there is a symptom of a metabolism problem. And a lot of people don't even realize that. They just think that they're made that way. Yeah, yeah. So there's a lot of other symptoms and problems that are associated with poor metabolic function, not just weight gain or obesity. And so, for us, we love helping people lose weight and heal their metabolism, but all the non-weight loss victories are way more exciting to get people to get their life back. So many people are hurting and suffering and medicated and depressed. You know these people. And unfortunately, traditional medical approaches are always pharmaceutically based. And I don't know anybody who's sick from a lack of chemicals. If you give drugs to a healthy person, it makes them sick. How is giving drugs to a sick person make them healthy? Remember, health is the normal. That's our birthright. The goal isn't to keep treating all your conditions. Figure out what you're doing that's interfering with that healing process. That's really our message, is that health is the normal. Stop interfering, whether it's emotional, nutritional, spiritual, whatever is the block for you, it's not allowing you to express full health.
And full health is something, no? Because when we're talking about health, it's definitely not physical health. It totally includes mental health. Absolutely. And spiritual health. Yes. And health in your balance, work, personal life, family life, fun life, do things like,
Yeah.
because no, really, like
For sure. Yeah.
a healthy, happy life means a lot.
It does.
To living conscious and decide what you're going to do. It also means deciding what you're going to put in your mouth. And it's also deciding if you're tired of feeling sick or not even understanding what's going on, but you've tried all these different diets and they don't seem to work. Well, we've got an amazing tip that Roth gave us. There's this test that we can do. It's called metabolism.com, right?
Yeah, metabolismscore.com.
Oh, score.
So, yeah, so metabolismscore.com.
My English is getting worse.
Yeah, metabolismscore.com. Yeah.
Okay, so it's metabolismscore.com.
Correct.
So we can do the tests. I'm going to do it.
Okay.
I think it's really interesting. And when you're talking about 5 weeks of this program, means that people take 5 weeks of the program with them, or they have to meet with you or your team every day to do something about the program? Because I imagine it's a all-inclusive program, right?
It is. We've got an amazing support team.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we know about people who are healthy metabolism seekers is they need accountability. And so because of that, once somebody comes into our program or purchases the program, they're put into a VIP Facebook group where our coaches are located. They get into a membership platform and dashboard that has literally thousands of hours of us teaching people how to have a healthier metabolism from past hours that we've done with our clients. They get us on a weekly basis. In fact, we were just on with our clients earlier today by video. They could ask any question that they want. We're there to help and support them. Our team is unbelievable.
Rock star.
Yeah, our coaches support them. So we're providing accountability, and that's one of the things where a lot of programs that are out there, number one, they're focusing on diet, but number two is there's really not any customized support for people to be able to get the answers that they're looking for when they're looking for the answers. And so we provide them that support when they need it over the course of that 5 weeks.
That's very important, because I imagine that many questions arise while you're doing it. Knowing that you have that support is important. And sometimes for others, knowing that there's a tribe, that you're not alone, that we've been there, It's okay. It's so important to not feel the weirdo of the group, because we're all living our own battles and struggles. So it's important that, what I really like of what you're saying is this restricted part. Like, for example, I have a very good friend, and he's been battling with his weight for many, many years. And he went to a very important clinic here in Mexico, and they put him in these shakes. So he would have to drink shakes morning, afternoon, and lunch for I don't know how many days. And of course, he lost a lot of weight. But sometimes it scares me, because you can get the proper proteins or minerals or vitamins in, but it's not going to be your real life. So when you get out of the real life, it's what people feel they get out of a diet. Like if they came out of a concentration camp, really. You feel you want to eat everything that you didn't eat while you were in. So I think it's important to help people that are using these restrictive diets and really understand that they don't work. Even if they sell them like the 10th wonder in the world, I think there's so much to do with your head, with your spirit, and with your body to get healthy. It's a combination, no?
It is. And I think one of the, when you said it just a few minutes ago, when you said, we really have to be living with intention. And something that our program helps people to be able to do is to wake up in the morning. They have a manual that they're reading every day that's telling them exactly what to do. And the first thing on the top of every page of the manual is their affirmation for that day.
Cool.
And so they're speaking life into themselves. They have that self-love. And then over the 5 weeks that they're doing that, they're doing this every single day. So really what we're doing is retraining that person on how to live with intention.
Yeah.
And it's really beautiful after the 5 weeks because of how many of these people are continuing to keep on doing this on a daily basis because they've now created that habit, right? Because the neuroplasticity in the brain, they've rewired their brain to now be living this way.
20 to 60 days. If you get it in those 20, 60 days, it's going to be definitely part of your routine. The idea is to make it a habit, like Atomic Habits. Amazing, amazing. I love it. Hey guys, well, we're going to have to close the show, but I would like you both to share something that you consider important with all these Spanish-speaking people that are meeting you now. No, we have many people that I'm sure are going to be interested in your program and what you can help them understand about their health and their life. And many will be coming to you guys because they battled for so many years with their weight and they're sick of it. No, and maybe they think it doesn't work, but you've been doing this for how many years? 25, doctors?
Yeah, a long time.
Yep, long time.
It works, right? Look at you guys, it works. Okay, so what would you like to share before we close the show?
See how good I can do this in Spanish.
Uh-oh, this ought to be good.
So
okay.
I would say that con Dios todo estás posible. So with God, everything is possible. In other words, you know what? Utilizing this body that God gave us and trusting that our body was created to be healthy and not sick, have that trust and then have the steps and somebody to be able to guide you to be able to live that out with intention. That's what I would say.
I love it.
And mine's going to be in English. But very similar to what Dr. Rob said, because once I fully understood this changed everything for me. And it's a scripture in the Bible, and whether somebody would be religious or not, the scripture still is very, very true. It's an immutable law. And it's out of 1 John 4:4, and it says, greater is he that's within me than he that is within the world. And really the way I define that is that the greatest doctor in the world is inside of every single one of us. And that doctor does not make mistakes. That doctor just needs no interference. Know that you're already healed. God didn't leave anything out. You were made in perfection. That is the foundation to all things happy and healthy.
Beautiful. What can I say? Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Lizi.
Gracias.
Thank you.
Muchas gracias.
Quiero mucho. Les mando mucho besito desde México. Thanks a lot for your time, for your words, for your knowledge, for sharing. I'm sure that people will enter the H2 Life, and they will contact you. And this is going to be up in Spanish and English. Well, it's going to be subtitled in English for all our English-speaking friends. They have it, but the Spanish-speaking friends are going to be super happy to have you guys. And thanks. It's always a pleasure to see you.
Thank you, Dr. Lizi, and thank you for everything that you're doing in the world.
Yeah.
Creating superheroes.
You inspire us, for sure. You do. Thank you.
I feel extremely blessed to have amazing friends. And you guys promised to come to Mexico, right?
We're coming.
Hasta pronto.
Okay. God bless you. Take care.
Same to you.
Muchísimas gracias a todos ustedes. Pues miren, este programa va a tener subtítulos en español para que no se pierdan las increíbles palabras de Ron y de Randy y cómo su vida ha transformado a miles más, pero la importancia de cuidar nuestra función metabólica, de que esta sea flexible y cómo podemos aspirar a no tener que estar en esas dietas horribles de mátate de hambre y de todas maneras estar felices. Así que cuando reciban el programa y si conocen a alguien que está batallando con la salud, pues compártanselo. Y yo les quiero dar las gracias por compartir lo más valioso que tienen conmigo, su tiempo, y desearles, ay, mi vida, hecho está. Gracias.
A vos, mi amor.
Gracias.